Hello, my name is Irma Samda. I'm a Passport Service Coordinator at Lutheran Community Care. Joining me is Lisa Verdon, a Passport Coordinator at Family Service Toronto. We are here to answer the questions you asked in a recent survey sent out by the Passport program.
Yes, we received a lot of questions, so thank you to everyone who took the time to respond to the survey. Today, we'll be focusing on the questions that were most frequently asked.
But first, before we dive into the questions, let's do a brief overview of the Passport program, starting with what is the Passport program?
The Passport program is a reimbursement program funded by the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services, MCCSS, that supports adults 18 years of age or older with a developmental disability to participate in their communities and live as independently as possible. It also provides funding for caregiver respite services to help support primary caregivers of an adult with a developmental disability. So how does the process work? What are the steps involved for someone looking for passport funding?
A person needs to connect with the Developmental Services Ontario and be confirmed eligible for adult developmental services in Ontario. Youth with developmental disabilities and their families can reach out to their local DSO office before turning 18 to have their eligibility confirmed and to request a referral to Passport. If you are a young person turning 18, the Passport agency will reach out to you about Passport after your 18th birthday. You will not be able to receive reimbursement for admissible expenses until the required paperwork is completed and returned to your Passport agency. Now, let's get into the questions you sent in. The first question we'll address is, how do I get all the information I need about the Passport program, including information about allowable limits and admissible items?
The best place to access information about the Passport program is on the provincial website at www.passportfunding.ca. Here, you can access general information about the Passport program, frequently asked questions and resources, including instructional videos. You can also find the latest Passport guidelines from the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services, which outline eligible expenses and allowable limits for specific admissible items. Your local Passport agency is your direct contact for any questions you might have. Our next question is, I have funding and want to use it, but I need help to get started, including help with filling out the paperwork and deciding what to use it for. Where can I find someone to help?
The passportfunding.ca website has a list of videos to help walk you through completing forms, including the Passport Service Agreement form, Self-Administered Funds form, Transfer Payment Recipient, Service Agency and Broker form, Purchase of Service form. You can also find additional videos on how the program works, the Passport guidelines, and fill-in claims, and the resources page. If you still need help after watching these videos, please contact your local Passport agency. Our next question is from caregivers. Where can I find the resources and programs for things like housing for adult children and support for parents?
There are several community organizations that can provide support to people with developmental disabilities and their families. The Passport website resources page has a list of community partners with links to their websites. These organizations will be able to connect you to resources in your area. The DSO website, dsontario.ca, also has a page with information on finding housing supports. One of the questions we received from people living in remote communities is, can funds be reallocated from other categories? For example, if there aren't community programs or activities available where I live, could I use more funds towards equipment to play sports?
There are annual reimbursement limits for technology, community participation, support supplies and equipment, person-directed planning, live event tickets, and administration. Speaking of limits, our next question is about event tickets. Are tickets to special events like banquets and gala dinners admissible for the recipient and support worker or parent? Are 2 tickets automatically covered for events?
Passport recipients attending admissible ticketed live events, such as live music, theater, sporting events, and some entertainment events may be reimbursed for their ticket, as well as the ticket for their registered support worker, up to a maximum of $150 per ticket. Only tickets for the recipient and registered support worker are admissible. Tickets for unpaid primary caregivers, the person managing funds, and other people who are not allowed to be registered as a support worker are not admissible. Since food and meals for the recipient are never admissible, please check with your local passport agency about events such as banquets and galas that may include meals. Our next question has a few parts to it. How do I apply for an increase in funding? How does Passport determine how much a person gets? What happens if the funding amount is not enough to cover programs and activities, or the recipient's expenses exceed the amount of their Passport funding? Does Passport consider increases in expenses or services when giving funds?
Once your DSO assessment has been completed, the amount of funding you're eligible for is automatically calculated by the ministry system. This system considers a variety of factors, including behavioral, medical, and personal support needs, as well as caregiver circumstances when determining the amount of funding. Your funding is determined by your support needs. It is not based on income, increasing cost of services, or cost of living. Once you have used all your annual Passport funding, no additional invoices can be reimbursed for that year. You are encouraged to plan and budget for your expenses based on your annual funding amount. If your circumstances change from what was captured in the assessment, it is important to connect with your DSO and update them with these changes. If you're eligible for more funding, your local passport agency will contact you directly. So, how do I know what my funds balance is? Can I see my balance from previous years and make claims for those years?
If you are unsure of your remaining funds, please connect with your local passport agency. You cannot carry over unused funding from previous years. However, if you have funds remaining from a previous year and have eligible receipts for that year, you may still be reimbursed for eligible expenses. You can contact your passport agency if you have any questions about eligibility or prior year's expenses. The My Direct Plan Claims submission platform can also help to keep track of your funds balance. Go to passportfunding.ca to learn more about electronic claim submissions. Now we'll move on to some questions about support workers. How do I add a support person, and what is the criteria for a support worker?
Support workers can be added by completing a support worker information form and sending it to your local passport agency. A support worker must confirm that they are 18 years of age or older, not a primary caregiver or spouse of the primary caregiver, not a parent or step-parent of the passport recipient, not a spouse or partner of the passport recipient, not your payee on file, not the person managing funds, not already under compensation by the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services, MCCSS, to provide you with support or care through a MCCSS funded service. It is also important to note that for recipients who are supported through the host family program, family members such as a spouse, adult children, and so on that live within the host family home and make up the family are not eligible to be registered as a support worker under the Passport program. Now, about support workers and income taxes. Are support workers' hours tax-free? Do they have to claim it on their income tax? If so, do I need to provide a T4 for them? Do I have to claim what I'm paying them on my taxes?
Support workers are responsible for tracking and declaring their hours and earnings to Revenue Canada. Funding from Passport is not considered income for the recipient and does not need to be declared on their taxes. The next couple questions are about transportation and eligible items. First, how do I calculate mileage?
Mileage is calculated by kilometers driven or can be a flat rate. Please check the provincial hospitality guidelines as a reference for mileage claims. What about a parent, step-parent, or guardian who drives their child to a daily program or appointments? Can caregivers and unpaid primary caregivers claim mileage?
Mileage can be claimed by the recipient, a support worker, or the person managing the funds, PMF, to drive the recipient to and from admissible passport-related activities. Mileage to and from medical appointments, banking, shopping, or other personal activities cannot be claimed. Support workers cannot claim mileage to drive themselves to and from their home, their place of work, or place of providing support. For example, the recipient's home or activity location. The next question is, can I claim expenses for pets or non-service animals?
The cost of an animal, their care, food and shelter, and training are not admissible under the Passport Program guidelines. Our final two questions are about the claim process. First, if I'm submitting expenses for a previous fiscal year, for example, 2022, should I use the new forms or the old forms from the submission year?
Always use the most up-to-date invoice forms, regardless of which submission year the claim is for. Your local passport agency can provide the most current forms, or you can choose to submit your expenses electronically through eClaim or My Direct Plan. That brings us to our final question. How long does it take to get reimbursed? Will I get a notification?
Claims are processed as they are received. The length of time an invoice takes to be processed and reimbursed depends on a few factors, including, is the claim form filled out accurately? Is the claim completed, or is there missing information or receipts? Does the claim include any ineligible expenses? Are there any questions about the claim? To avoid reimbursement delays, please ensure that claim forms are properly completed and supporting documents such as support worker information forms or receipts are included in the submission as needed. You can watch this video to learn more about how to fill the claim form. Also, you can be notified of direct deposit by selecting text, phone, messages, or email on the payee form. Your local passport agency can help you with this. Submitting claims electronically through My Direct Plan or eClaim can help you get paid faster. Recipients are strongly encouraged to submit claims on a regular basis to avoid processing delays, as processing times at fiscal year end are longer due to the volume of claims received.
That concludes this video. Thank you for submitting all your questions. We hope this has been helpful.
For more information on the Passport Program and to access helpful resources, visit passportfunding.ca.